Just a few days after NASA launched a spacecraft it hopes will push an asteroid traveling toward Earth off course, comes a new comedy covering similar ground. Tracy Smith speaks with the director and two of the biggest stars in the universe about Don't Look Up. So how certain is this?
There's 100% certainty of impact.
Please, don't say 100%.
Can we just call it a potentially significant event?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just in time for Christmas, the end of the world.
There's a comet headed directly towards Earth.
In the new movie, Don't Look Up, out this month in theaters and on Netflix, a giant comet is on a collision course with planet Earth.
This comet is what we call a planet killer.
That is correct.
And who better to tell the story of cosmic disaster than some really big stars?
99.78% to be exact.
There's Leonardo DiCaprio as the scientist trying to warn the world, and Meryl Streep as the president who won't take him seriously.
And then what happens, like a tidal wave?
It will be far more catastrophic. There will be mile-high tsunamis fanning out all across the globe.
It's quite a vision, and the guy behind it all is screenwriter-director Adam McKay.
By the way, that's one of my favorite things that you put in.
He let us sit in as he and editor Hank Corwin cut the final version in their LA edit room.
Did you, in casting this, just look at the two front rows of the Oscars and say, okay, yeah, these are the people I want in the movie?
I mean, I guess. So for instance, with the President Orlean, of course, you think Meryl Streep, and you just assume she's gonna say no and you'll move on.
Was there a moment where you kind of said, oh, come on, this can't be happening? You know, I want a Leonardo DiCaprio type, and you get Leonardo DiCaprio.
He was the moment. When he said yes, I was like, this is crazy.
And it gets even crazier.
We need you to attend an emergency cabinet meeting where you would be fully debriefed.
Well, what about us?
You do not have clearance for this, sweetheart.
Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence is a snubbed scientist. Oscar nominee Jonah Hill is a petty White House official.
Your breathing is stressing me out.
This will affect the entire planet.
I know, but it's like so stressful.
It doesn't take long to see that the comet is a metaphor for climate change, with the world split between believers and skeptics. And while there's nothing funny about global annihilation, the movie is a comedy through and through.
What if we have to go to the bathroom?
We'll lay out some newspaper for you. Grab you a can of Febreze.
Did you feel like I have to do a comedy?
Yeah, because if we're laughing, we can deal with stuff. It's when we get, overwhelmed with depression or despair, that's when things get hard. So as soon as I realized we needed to laugh when it came to dealing with the climate crisis, I knew where to go.
And at 53, he's learned how to get a laugh or two. Adam McKay dropped out of Temple University to join the Second City improv troupe and eventually was hired as a writer at Saturday Night Live, where he met his comic soulmate, Will Ferrell.
The experience of writing with him and then getting the sketch on the air was so fun and pain-free. Neither one of us were overthinking things. We were just having a good time that was like, oh, I gotta work with this guy. And that was kind of the beginning of it.
That's gonna do it for all of us here at Channel 4 News. You stay classy, San Diego. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter?
After SNL, McKay and Ferrell took their brand of funny to the big screen with films like Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
116. 116! I'm going fast again! Woo!
But even with runaway success at the box office, McKay wanted to stretch his legs beyond pure comedy. He got his chance in 2015 as director of the movie version of Michael Lewis's bestseller about the 07-08 financial crisis, The Big Short.
The whole housing market is propped up on these bad loans. They will fail.
I'm not sure that most people who read The Big Short thought, oh, this would make a really interesting feature film.
I couldn't put it down. And for some reason, when I was done with it, all these people have told me since, oh, I never thought that could be a movie. I was like, oh, this is a movie.
It was a movie, all right.
B's, 0. Double B's, 0. Triple B's, 0. And then that happens.
What is that?
That's America's housing market.
McKay turned a confusing story into a box office hit and shared an Oscar for screenwriting. For him, it was all personal.
You know, my father lost his house in that collapse. I mean, people think, oh, big shot Hollywood guy, but no, this collapse affected people that were close to me. So it was definitely a project that I felt a real emotional connection to.
Do you know how many the world is ending meetings we've had over the last 2 years?
Drought, famine.
Hole in the ozone is so boring.
And now, Adam McKay has an emotional connection to the climate crisis. It's a passion he shares with some of his best-known cast members.
Why did you decide to do this movie?
Because of him, because of Adam. I'm a huge fan. Nobody makes me laugh harder in his movies, and nobody makes me think more.
I had been waiting patiently for something like this, and it sort of landed in my lap. And then, of course, got to work with amazing people like this.
He's done award-winning movies like Big Short, Vice. But are you Anchorman fans?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Ron Burgundy. My second husband.
Turns out they all needed a few laughs on set. The movie was filmed at the height of the pandemic, masks and all. But to Leo DiCaprio, that only made the film more meaningful.
It was a fascinating thing, you know, this is the 100-year pandemic, but to realize that everyone was going through the same thing simultaneously
At the same
on
time.
Earth.
Yeah, right.
And that's why it connected with this screenplay that was about the climate crisis, that we're all going to feel the ramifications of this. And what we're seeing right now with the wildfires and the massive hurricanes and all these catastrophes, it doesn't get better than this, okay? It doesn't get better than this. It slowly becomes worse.
It would damage the entire planet, not just a house. You know.
The entire planet. Okay, well, as it's damaging, will it hit this one house in particular that's right on the coast of New Jersey? It's my ex-wife's house. I need it to be hit. Can we make that happen?
But bad news, like the climate crisis, is a tough sell, and the film skewers news media types, played here by Tyler Perry and Cate Blanchett, who insist on smiling through it all.
Are we not being clear? We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Okay.
Well, it's, you know, just something we do around here. You know, we just keep the bad news light.
Right, it helps the medicine go down.
From where you sit, is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked for it.
But here we are. We're, you know, we all get fluffed up and we come on and we're talking about our movie and we're on TV and, you know, he shaved. And yes, we try to give the people something, you know, something to lift them. And I think it's accurate about everybody's very human desire not to look at the bad thing.
I totally agree. I think, you know, again, talking about climate, I've talked about it a lot, and you can kind of see people's eyes glaze over.
Can one movie make a difference?
Hopefully. But at this point, I'm Debbie Downer with this issue. So you're asking the wrong guy. To me, it's about a little less, you know, conversation and a lot more action.
At this very moment, I say we sit tight and assess.
Sit tight and assess.
Sit tight and assess.
You want us to sit tight.
And then assess.
Adam McKay isn't the first filmmaker to use comedy as a way to get a serious message across. He's just hoping he won't be one of the last.
We can overcome this, but what's scaring me now is it's really getting to be down to the last second. So hopefully this movie is something where we get a lot of laughs, but we also get a kick in the pants.